Stuart,
Yes.
based on your experience, are there any signs or markers, whether they be tangible or intangible, by which one can assess the development of their chakra system or their progress spiritually?
You know, I like that. What do you think? Do you think there are no signs in your life that are telling you that you're changing inside, that you're growing inside, that you're seeing the world a little differently? Life is showing us just about every second that we, are alive exactly how we see the world. And if you are changing inside and the chakra system is developing, you begin to see a different reality. Life itself shows you a different reality. And you ordinarily see if the heart is closed, if the mind is closed, if you're trapped in sexual energy and all that chaos runs rampant inside a person, you cannot really see what life wants you to see and what life is going to teach you. So yes, there are signs all the time, that you're growing, that you're changing inside, you're building a system inside that, and all these kind of minor miracles take place in life. Things start just happening that don't ordinarily happen, and we're given constant reminders of what we have to do to grow every day. Yes, there are many, many signs. The problem is we're so often caught up in our heads and our emotions, we don't see them. All we see is what the mind is yakking about, what the emotions are yakking about, and we don't really see the teachings of life, what life is teaching us. But even then, if the mind is yakking, if the emotions are all twisted up, if you're that itself is a sign from God that you got to do deeper work on yourself. It just depends upon how you see the world. To me, just about everything that happens to me is a sign and a signal of my growth, of what is taking place inside me. And years of doing this have given me the capacity to see these things. And I find that it's like a miracle, it's like an incredible miracle. And that life is an amazing teacher if you're open to witness what life has to teach you. So yes, as the chakra system develops, we get less thick, we get less self-involved, we get less caught up in our tension. We know how to manage these things so that we live in the world with some clarity, so that we can see these signs as they manifest and then use them every day. They give us also a sense of security that what we're doing is working. I get that just from the things I talk about. I couldn't talk like this 10 years ago, 5 years ago. That to me, this is an incredible sign of opening in great depth, allowing spirit to flow through, allowing myself to be nurtured by higher energy. And then the words themselves have a different meaning. It could be the same exact words, but they have different meanings. So yes, there are many, many signs. And if we're conscious, we see them. But if we're all caught up in money and relationships and this and that and all that tension, it's impossible to see them. We walk around, we're just blind. But if we're centered and balanced inside and the heart is open and the mind is quiet, we can see what life is teaching us. We can hear what life is teaching us. We can touch what life is teaching us. All the senses work on a different level. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It comes back to us. It really comes back to how deeply we really work on ourselves. And if we're all trapped in tension and, the mind and all that stuff, it's just telling you there's another sign that's telling you you're not working deeply enough on yourself. You got to go deeper. If there's no security in our life, you understand? If money is the only security, it's telling you you really got to go a lot deeper. If, relationships and all this stuff of life, if you think that through politics you're going to build security in your life, it's just telling you you got to go deeper. It's the only security I've ever found in my life is higher energy, God, Everything else is transient, it's finite, slips through our fingers, it comes, it goes, and it creates fear. One day it'll be gone. It will be gone. There's nothing we can do about it. So we might as well learn to live with it, with consciousness and quietly, and not hold on to it. Just allow it to be there and run our life every day, and you give Caesar what Caesar's due, and connect with a higher consciousness. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart,
Yes.
do you see that we can receive higher energy through the arts, through music, through paintings, through written word? Is that another vehicle
Yes.
to teach us?
My life has been inundated with that. As long as I can remember, many years before I even met reading. It even became my business, art. And my whole life has been inundated with that. And I believe that. I don't think that music and art and writing are the ultimate answers, but they open doorways and pathways to begin to find the ultimate answer in life. Yes, look, I sit and listen to Bach's B minor Mass, and my God, it's a deeply spiritual experience. The man was connected with God, with spirit. He wrote this as a vehicle for God's energy. Other composers, I found this thing called Spotify. I recommend it very highly. It's like the greatest record store on the history of the earth, and it costs $10 a month to belong. It's unbelievable, the music you find there. And I never knew about this. And suddenly I have this whole collection of music. This morning I'm listening to Bizet's Carmen, which I haven't heard in a really long time. It's just, music is an amazing gift. It's not the answer, but it really is a constant reminder. I used to be, friends with a very famous conductor, who was, kind of a good friend of mine, 20 years ago. And he used to come in my gallery all the time. And we became friends. And I'll never forget, I was down in Miami Beach where he was running an orchestra down there, and, one of his jobs. And he gave me tickets to the concert. So I went to the concert. And I'll never forget, afterwards, we're sitting on Lincoln Road in Miami Beach. I don't know if you all know Lincoln Road, but it's a kind of a tourist place, a lot of restaurants and cafes. And he's talking, and looks at me, he said, Stuart, he said, music can't be the answer. I almost fell off my chair. And I told him if I live to be 1,000 years old. I would never thought I'd ever hear that come out of your mouth. He said, Stuart, I've got to learn the things that you talk about. Blew my socks away, because I agree. Music is an extraordinary vehicle. It's not the answer. It's a reminder that we have to go a little bit higher. Like Bach said, when he was dying, that incredible thing. Why are you all unhappy? I'm going to where the music comes from. I mean, that to me is one of the most extraordinary things I ever heard. So yes, art, music. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of contemporary art. I think it's too wrapped up in material stuff. But certainly during the Renaissance, the Middle Ages, back in India in the 2nd to the 12th century, the stuff they created was unbelievable. Tibet, early Tibet. I mean, deeply spiritual and a constant reminder that there is a higher force in the universe. And that our job is to open deeply enough to get to that higher force, that source of all energy. So music and all arts are like that. I mean, you read the poems of Rumi and Kabir, and it's extraordinary, how connected they were with spirit. But even they would tell you, this is not the answer. The answer is you got to go deep in yourself and connect and find a path through yourself to connect with higher energy so that it becomes a living reality in your life. I mean, I went to see an exhibition of Van Gogh, a couple of weeks ago. It did this kind of video thing where you're in this huge room and all the walls were covered with Van Gogh paintings. And it was exceptional, the man was, you put him in front of a canvas and he was deeply spiritual. You put him in his ordinary life and he was crazy, cutting off his ear, living in sanitariums, but put him in front of a canvas and this guy was so connected to spirit when he painted that you sit there and look at his work in awe. But, my God, the rest of his life was a complete mess. So yes, art, music, literature, it's all pathways to God, reminders that we have to find a way to work on ourselves so that we can find our own unique connection with higher energy in the universe. I mean, when I was younger, I really got pissed off because I read Plato's Republic, and he talks about this. He said art and music are very high levels of creation, but they're not the answer. And boy, did I get upset at him because I was so deeply involved in wanting to create through the arts my connection with God. And he said, it's not the answer. And he was right. It's not the answer. It's just a reminder that we got to do deep spiritual practice to find the answer, to find the connection, to attain enlightenment. And this comes from somebody who has been inundated. I mean, look, I'm still buying art, surrounding myself with art, and I love it, but I know that it's not the answer. It's just a constant reminder to me that I got to keep going deeper inside myself. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I am feeling very much more not good now when I come home. And when I was traveling with my family, I had much energy. I was extra active in activity, and suddenly come home, I can do anything. I just have to lie down.
Take a few days and adjust to being home again, okay? Don't worry about it, okay, Flora? It'll come back.
Okay.
I really mean it. Just take a few. I'm home. Are you back in Norway now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm
3
home,
days.
okay? I got to take a few days. I got to adjust to being here. I got to, you know, and it'll come back. No, beat yourself up because you're having a little bit difficulty now. You know, it doesn't, there's always going to be difficulty. I have difficulty, you know, but you put it in a different gear. You just, it's like driving a car, you know, you got to change the gear, you know, and just adjust yourself to being home and relaxing and getting back into life in Norway, and, you know, and you'll be just fine. I know you'll just be fine because I've heard this from you before, and I see how you have grown from the day I met you to today. So don't get all, crazy about things, being a little difficult. No, they're always going to be difficult, you know, but you build a system that can deal with it, and you say, okay, I can deal with this. I will have patience. I will do my inner work, and it'll all change. And I promise you that. You want to sign a contract? I'll sign a contract. That's gonna happen. Just leave yourself alone. That's your big problem. You got to leave yourself alone. Stop beating
Okay.
yourself up, okay?
Okay.
I mean,
Because I have so much to do, you know.
well, so what? So do I. Don't worry about it. You'll do it.
Okay.
Just stop beating Flora up. Okay. Leave yourself alone.
Oh,
Does
thank
anyone
you.
else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, then there'll be meditation on Thursday. As I've been announcing, on the 9th of this month, I'm going to be interviewed regarding a book I wrote that's been translated into Portuguese. And originally we thought of doing it just in Brazil, but no, we're going to do it, I'm going to send out invites to whoever wants to come. And I think it should be very interesting. I'm interested in going because I'm dying to hear the questions they have to ask about my book and see what kind of answers they come up with. So it'll be on the 9th. It's 11 o'clock my time, which you have to judge wherever you are living, what time it is. And anyway, there'll be a class on Thursday. And God bless you all for being here. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, on Thursday. If you know people that are interested in coming, I'm open to new students. I think we really have gotten down to a good group of people that are constantly coming and working on themselves. And it would be great to welcome new people into this group. So if you know of anybody, have them get in touch with me and I'll be happy to talk with them. Bless you all. Thank you. And I will see everybody on Thursday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.